Okay. We ready? Call the regular meeting of the Huron City Commission to order. It is Monday, May 11th, 2020, and it's 5:30 p.m. Could we have a roll call, please?
Smith.
Aye.
Here. Harrington.
Here.
Robish.
Present.
Mayor Albert.
Here. Let's stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move now to item number 2, public forum. Public comments may be sent during the live meeting broadcast on the city's YouTube channel. The link is listed on the city's website at www.huronsd.com/city-government. That's www.huronsd.com/city-government. In order to use the YouTube chat feature, please create an account with YouTube and Gmail, or use your existing accounts. If you have a comment or question, you can send that now or anytime during our meeting. We will try to get it on the air for you. We'll now move to agenda approval. I have a couple of additions to the agenda for this evening. On consent calendar, I'd like to add 4.6, city attorney resignation, effective 5/9/2020. And I'd like to add at 7.1, resolution 2020-08. Are there any other changes or additions or motion on the agenda this evening?
Motion to approve the agenda with the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor will say aye, opposed nay, and we'll have a roll call. Please.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Albert.
Aye. The agenda is approved as amended. Move to item 4, consent agenda. Matters appearing on the, I'm sorry, we probably should go back to public forum. Have you have anything yet, Shauna?
No, I don't.
Okay. Is there anything from the commission on public forum? Commissioner Smith, you have something you'd like to say?
I do, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more on with the amendment to the to the agenda. But some things that have been brought up since our special meeting on Saturday that we want to remind the public on is the ordinance. The previous ordinance was pretty specific to businesses in the community, and with the passing of the new resolution, that would apply to businesses throughout the community and adhering to those guidelines. And those guidelines can be seen on the city's website, and maybe take a look at that and see how it applies to your business.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other comments for public forum from the commission? Nothing yet online. Okay. We'll move then to the consent agenda, item 4. Matters appearing on the consent agenda are expected to be non-controversial and will be acted upon by the commission at one time without discussion unless a member of the commission requests an opportunity to address any given item. Items removed from the consent agenda will be discussed at the beginning of the formal items. Tonight's consent agenda starts with 4.1, minutes of the May 4th, 2020 meeting. 4.2, appointments to the Employee Safety Committee and the Planning Commission. 4.3, proclamation, National Police Week, May 10th through the 16th, and Peace Officer Memorial Day on May 15th. 4.4, personnel items. 1, hiring of a part-time summer park maintenance position. 2, hiring of a part-time summer golf maintenance position. 3, rehiring of a part-time summer golf maintenance position. 4, accept the resignation or the retirement of Police Sergeant Daniel Slater. Number 5, appoint, promote Rob Rieger from Water Sewer Treatment Foreman to Water Sewer Superintendent, and to advertise for the Water Sewer Treatment Foreman position. And 6, accept the voluntary resignation of volunteer firefighter Kevin Amlander. 4.5, payment of the bills. 4.6, accept the city attorney Banks's resignation effective May 9th, 2020. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda items?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Is there a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded. Again, we'll need a roll call. All those in favor will say aye, opposed nay, and we'll call the roll, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Albert.
Aye. Moving to item 5, 5.1, consider payment request number 1 by Asphalt Paving and Materials Company for bid number 2020-03, street milling and overlay in the amount of $535,324.79. City Engineer, Assistant City Engineer Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. This is progress payment for the asphalt paving. We're doing this here. And, just recommend approval for it.
Okay. Do I have a motion on the request for the partial payment?
Move approval?
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. Any discussion or questions? Our status is we're pretty well done with most of
Should
the,
be done tomorrow evening with all the mill and overlay projects.
okay, but this was just a partial payment though.
Yep. The bid was 1.43,
Four.
something like that, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the partial payment approval will say aye, opposed nay, and we'll call the roll, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Albert.
Aye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You just well stay there too, though. Item 6, 6.1. Consider agreement with the Infrastructure Design Group, Inc. for 3rd Street Bridge Preservation Project, and authorize the mayor and city engineer to sign all documents. And Assistant Engineer Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for the 3rd Street Bridge epoxy overlay. Infrastructure Design Group is who started the big grant for us, bridge improvement grant. And we recommend going ahead with them for $38,000, not to exceed $38,500. They'll do all the grant paperwork and stuff for us on that. And this is for 80% construction match, and the estimate's $142,000 for repairs. So recommend approval, or approval for you to sign.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve applying for the agreement? And I guess it's with
Infrastructure Design Group.
Infrastructure Design Group. So, do I have a motion on this project?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? I was a little confused on the first of it, but it's just the deck.
Yep,
Right.
it's a epoxy coating on the deck.
Yep.
They did the inspection and the only real deficiency they found is on the sidewalk on both ends, the sagging, and this will address that also.
Great. Other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of proceeding with this project, say aye, opposed nay. Call the roll, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Albert.
Aye. We'll move to item number 7, ordinances and resolutions. 7.1, resolution number 2020-08. Per our discussions on Saturday, we agreed to look at this again and maybe make a motion on it. So,
I guess,
Commissioner
Mayor, if I may,
Smith,
I'm
yes.
sorry. I'm kind of the one that's bringing this up from Saturday's conversation, but I would move to approve the resolution.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded to approve, again, resolution number 2020-08. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Question, Commissioner Clute?
Is this intended to be a second reading, Brian, or what, is there an amendment to what we,
No, just a second reading, no amendment
Okay.
to it.
right? Do we have enough time between the readings?
It's not an ordinance, it's a resolution, so it doesn't need a second reading. It was just put on there for, the Commissioner Smith asked for it to be on again tonight.
Okay.
It will be published in the paper tomorrow.
Right.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the 2020-08 resolution, will say aye, opposed nay, and we'll call the roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayor Albert.
Aye. And it will be published tomorrow's paper, is that,
And
that's
then
correct?
it goes, yep.
Okay,
And Mayor, if I may?
Yes,
Just to reemphasize again, the businesses should look through that resolution and identify how that pertains to their individual businesses. If there's safety practices that they're not currently observing, take a look at it and try to implement those guidelines within their businesses.
okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we will move on to item 8, departmental items. Consider request by 8.1, consider request by Huron Community Campus to apply for a 2021 United Way grant to update the security system at the Fine Arts Building and to authorize the executive director to sign related documents. And Commissioner Harrington, that's one of your departments. Would you like to tell us what that's about?
It's pretty much self-explanatory. There is some money out there for us to utilize from the United Way grant to update our security system. And our executive director, Doug, has decided that it's needed, and this is his request to go ahead and try to get the approval of that grant.
Okay. Is there a motion on the proposal?
Motion to approve the grant.
Okay, and is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to apply for a 2021 United Way grant. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor will say aye, opposed nay. Call the roll, please.
Smith.
Aye.
Clute.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish. Mayor Albert.
Aye. Move to 8.2, authorize the mayor to sign the tank removal form with the South Dakota Department of Natural Resources to remove fuel tanks at the former street shop. Assistant City Engineer Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. This is, for the Old City Streets Shop. South Dakota has a program to remove the tanks for free. I'm just asking for you to go ahead and sign it so we can get it going.
Okay. Do you have a motion to apply for this grant for tank removal?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion, questions for Commissioner Robish?
Thank you, Mayor. Are we doing that, or are they doing that?
They remove them for free.
They do them all.
All we're responsible for is resurfacing, which when we level the building, we'll take care of all that, so.
Good. I thought so, but make sure.
Yep.
Other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of applying for the grant, we'll say aye, opposed nay, and we'll call the roll, please.
Smith,
Aye.
Clute,
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robish.
Aye.
Mayala.
Aye. Move to 8.3, consider recommendations from the Park and Rec Board to open the following facilities with COVID-19 guidelines. And I'll just read the list and then we'll go to either Commissioner Clute or our Superintendent Clark. I think he's online with us tonight. So, 1 was Cook Dog Park. 2, allow porta potties to be placed at the Community Friendship Gardens. 3, public restrooms in Central Park Trail, Winter Park, Memorial Park Trail, and Ravine Lake Bathhouse. 4, Winter Park Tennis and Prospect Park Pickleball Courts. 5, not offer the day camping activities at the campus center. 6, Cunard and Mountain Dew complexes. And 7, Campbell Park for the farmer's market. Commissioner Clute, do you want to start, or do you want Ron to take it?
Well, I guess everybody has in their packet, the minutes of the special Park and Rec Board meeting. They considered each one of those items separately and voted on them. And so I guess that would be my first question, whether you want to vote on them as a group, or would you like to take each one individually?
Unless there's someone that has a difference with their recommendation, we can do it separately, or if we want to accept their suggestions, we'll just take them all at once. Anybody have any questions on it? Yeah, Commissioner Robish.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Coonheart and Mountain Dew complexes, is that meaning that we're going to have City League softball then this year?
Well, if you look at the minutes,
Okay.
it goes into a little more detail than what the agenda said. But, and we do have LaRon. LaRon, you can hear us, correct?
Correct, if you can hear my audio.
Okay, you'll have to speak up a little bit, I think, Ron, but why don't I just read what it says there? And I did participate, or at least I was listening in on that special meeting. The minutes say that they have recommended to the commission that we open the softball and baseball facilities known as Cunhart and Mount Dew complexes. That's the softball complexes, and the baseball facilities to playing catch only for family use with no league practices at this time. So I think they're going to consider, league and actual play later, but right now, according to our policy on the facilities, those are completely shut down to the public, so they would like to open that up for that purpose. Is that the way you understand it, Ron?
That is correct. I guess we're still going under the less than 10 groups.
Does that answer your question, Mark?
It does, it does. I guess my question was going with because the National Little League Baseball has postponed Little League Baseball everywhere. That's what, yeah, it's my understanding anyway. This year,
Legion has, National Legion.
Legion is back on, but Little League is off,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah. But that's what led up to my question,
I see. Mhm.
because I didn't see the Little League complexes. Sorry, that.
Commissioner Robish, we are still looking for some sort of statement from our Little League Association.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, that answers.
Okay. Any other questions on any of the other ones? I don't have the letter with me here on, it's not attached to
Well, if
the,
I may, Mayor, because I think it's important for the public to have a little more detail about it, we'll just go down on there, on the list. They recommended to the commission that we open Cook Dog Park, but that we allow no more than 10 individuals at one time within that fenced area. And there would be signage, correct, Ron?
That is correct.
And then on the porta potties out at the Friendship Gardens, they felt it was important, given the remote nature of that facility, that people have the ability to go to a restroom. And so they did vote to allow those. The city staff will clean those twice a day. And then there'll be regular servicing from the sanitation services that we rent those from. Will there be signage out there also?
Yes, sir.
There is already, right?
There is, yes.
So maybe not specifically as to the porta potties, or are we anticipating additional signage for that, Ron?
We could sure add a couple situations there as soon as they're delivered.
Okay. And then they recommend to the commission that we allow opening of public restrooms in 4 park areas. The Central Park Trail, to use the outside bathroom, the Winter Park tennis court bathroom, the Memorial Park Trail Park bathroom, the campground bathroom remains closed, and the Ravine Lake Bathhouse, Putters and Scoops mini golf course outside bathroom. Those will also be cleaned twice a day by Park and Rec, with the public encouraged to promote their own personal hygiene program. They voted to open up the Winter Park Tennis and Prospect Park pickleball courts. They will erect signage about social distancing at those facilities. The board also recommends to the commission that the day camp activities at the campus center for the summer not be offered at this time. Although late this afternoon I talked to Huron, and within the department at least they're rethinking that again. And we've heard that the Nordby Center may be opening their summer day camp activities. There is going to be a regular meeting of the Park and Rec Board on May 20th to consider additional activities, and it is possible that they could be considering again that day camp activity, but at this time they voted not to offer that, even though they had a full slate of participants registered. Is that right, Laron?
That particular program's always full just about immediately.
Then they voted to recommend that, like we just talked about, opening the softball, baseball facilities for playing catch only for family use with no league practices at this time. Farmers Market, they recommend be opened at Campbell Park Farmers Market made that request. They have a group that runs that, and they would, they have a program, a protocol in place, do they not, for operating that run?
Yes, they have their list of rules, and they would be providing those to us before they would have their first offerings in June, end of June.
Are they only gonna offer farmers market Saturday mornings, or will that extend to a weekday also?
Most of the time, it's been Saturday mornings.
Okay.
Later in the summer, they may look at another time.
And then, like I already indicated, other facilities will be considered at the May 20th regular Park and Rec meeting. At the special meeting, they did have a long discussion about opening Splash Central. The Park and Rec Board and Colby, the head of our Splash Central facility, have spent a lot of time on that issue. They've reviewed that with a number of towns around the area. At that time, at the special meeting, just for your information, Colby recommended that if it was to open, he would probably recommend only opening the 50-meter pool and not opening the lazy river or the slides or the kiddie area. And then he had quite a list of recommendations on how possibly that could be run. It may only be opened up to a certain number of people for 2-hour increments, where they possibly would have to line up in a first come, first serve basis, allowed to enter, so that we could keep the adequate social distancing and not have a huge crowd in there. But at this time, they didn't want to open it up. And we're getting some mixed signals, and maybe you can speak to that too, Ron, but I do know some communities have determined not to open, and others have on a limited basis. Is that correct, Ron?
Most of the first-class cities in the state are still considering some sort of limited opening. Some of the smaller towns around the state have announced that they will open.
And there was some discussion about possibly opening later. You know, I think ordinarily it's opened around Memorial Day, correct?
We try to open in that vicinity. They're having a Zoom meeting among the first-class cities tomorrow, so we'll hear more about where they're at.
So we anticipate the Park and Rec Board will make a definite recommendation about that facility at their regular meeting on May 20th, and then we would consider the recommendation at our June 1st meeting.
That is our plan at this point.
Did I miss anything, Laurent, or would you like to add anything?
No, you covered it very well, thank you.
So I guess at this point, unless you have any questions, I would move to adopt the recommendations for opening park and rec facilities and not opening rec facilities made by the Park and Rec Board.
Okay, unless there's someone who would like to break out any of those to vote on, is there any of those that we couldn't vote on in one time? Anybody have any differences? If not, I'll entertain a motion then to approve them all in one group.
Well, I just made a motion.
Okay,
And I'll second that motion.
then it's made and seconded. All those in favor will say aye. Is there any discussion before we go to vote? Hearing none?
Mayor,
Yep, Commissioner Smith.
The one discussion item that I would have, not so much in regard to the motion, but whether we should consider a work session next week in relation to the other facilities of the cities. Get some idea of how we want to work into that, such as the public library, other community area, or city-owned facilities.
We can very easily do that.
If I may, Mayor?
I don't mean to muck up your
No,
motion here,
no.
Doug.
No, can I address that, though? I mean,
Sure,
I
sure
think that's a
can.
good idea, and I guess you had a meeting, did you not, Mayor, with the city heads a week or so ago?
Yes, we did.
Got their input on that?
We're probably gonna do another one.
Okay, so that's good. And in that regard, Huron has received a request from the church that rents one of our rooms at the campus center to resume services there. And so he would like to have some guidance on that too. So, and maybe we can get a little more specific information about that group before next Monday, Huron, so we can think about that.
Yes, we can definitely give you a normal figure as to how many people are there every Sunday.
Right. And then where you could put them in relation to that number of people, space-wise and that kind of thing, yeah. Okay.
Okay, we can just go ahead and put the work session on for next
Because
week.
the other add-on is, I talked to one citizen, they're kind of where we were with the ordinance and so on. They just want to know on or off kind of a deal. So if they're planning other things for the summer, that they're kind of know where that schedule is laying.
Yeah, I think we have to let people know pretty soon, because they're gonna make plans. Okay, any other comments? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to approve all of the recommendations by the Park and Rec Board. And a second. All those in favor will say aye, opposed nay, and we'll call the roll.
Smith.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye.
Harrington.
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
Mayor Albert.
Aye. Okay, and we will put a work session on next Monday's schedule for discussion of opening other parts of the city. Having conducted all the business for this evening, we will be adjourned. Thank you, everyone. All right, we didn't have